What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be doing a little bait demo for you guys, something that I find very effective. It's going to be an upside down mackerel head bait. You can use it with a mullet too. I use it just to get that little bit of extra distance, and it's really effective in our waters because you can target a wide variety of species with it. So stay tuned. Okay guys, so the first thing we have to decide is when will we be using this type of bait. So I use this bait mostly for smaller fish. If we are fishing a point, the water is clean, sometimes the fish are coming in from behind, I want to get that 5 to 10 meters further than the other guys, then I will use this type of bait. Another time you can use it is if you're wading through a bank, tide is pushed, it's possibly your last wade that you're going to get through and put a bait over, or maybe it's touch and go, you think you're not going to make it, maybe you'll just make it, then I'll use this bait. It will get me a little bit of extra distance. It's small, it's very aerodynamic, and then the type of species that we're going to be looking for with this bait is generally in our area little grey sharks, little bronzies, diamond rays, hound sharks, gully sharks, hammerheads, that type of fish. You can scale the bait and you can use it for bigger fish alternatives. You can use it with a mullet head for a raggy on the days that the raggies are biting, but generally I use this bait when the water is maybe a bit cleaner, or where I want to be getting to, the zone that I want to be reaching is just touch and go or out of reach. Then I use this to get just a little bit of extra distance. Okay, so this video is going to start off with the making of the dingle dangle. So for the first part of the video, we're going to need a piece of heat shrink, side cutters, a lighter, long nose pliers or these little round nose pliers, and then a piece of steel. Most importantly, I use electrical fencing wire. A lot of the guys use piano wire, number 14, number 16, something like that. Doesn't really matter. So we're going to start with the round nose pliers. Important bit is to have quite a longish tag end, so that we're going to be using this. You'll see now why and how, but we want a nice longish tag end. Then you take the bottom end of the dangle and you wrap it around the round nose pliers. Then you move the round nose pliers, change positioning, and then do it again, so that you end with something like that. Then what I do is I straighten this loop out. So I'll put it in there, and then I'll just pull this wire like so that I end with that. That is perfect. Now you take these pliers and we're just going to wrap the steel around once, maybe twice, and you're going to end with this. Then I like to straighten it out again. Now this is where the important part comes in. We're going to trim that down a little bit. And then we're going to turn this down into a position where it's facing towards the other end of the dangle wire. So it's going to look something like this. That's what you want to end with. Pretty easy, straightforward, and in the next part of the video you'll understand why exactly we are doing it this way. But now it's important to have a piece of heat shrink, because this dangle is actually not going to go in between the lips of our mackerel head, so there's nothing that's going to keep the hook in place. So we need to put this heat shrink over. Should do it. I always push it a little bit flat, so the heat shrink almost gets a bit harder. Two sides touch each other. Trim it off, just make it neat. And there we go. Easy as that. Please note that the bottom end is still untwisted. There's nothing, it is straight. It is ready as is. This total piece is now about 9 centimeters, 10 centimeters in length. You can go a little bit shorter, you can go a bit longer, because we can just trim it. So there we go. Let's head over to the next piece. Okay, so this is what you're going to need for this part of the bait demo. A knife, obviously a nice mackerel, the dingle dangle that we made, probably the most important, dingle dangle grabber, side cutters, and a little bit of cotton. Alright, let's get straight into this. First, you're going to have to measure your size of the bait that you throw the furthest. Sometimes going super small is better for people, sometimes going too small. For me, it's not that nice, because I find it better. It's small mackerel, but the full mackerel head. So I don't like to trim it too much. So I'm going to start around in the middle of that fin. I'm going to be cutting it. And I'm going to start off with somewhere cutting it flush. Alright. Put that away for later. Now I'm going to start trimming and making the bait into an aerodynamic shape. I'm going to taper it on this end. Alright, so this is what we're going to end up with. So it is important to taper this end as well, because this is the side that our hook's going to be sticking. So it needs to be proud. So you need to taper it in a way that our hook's going to be nice and proud. We can readjust it a little bit later, but that is what I want for now. This bait's going to be traveling through the air this way with the sinker on this end. So it's going to have almost no friction in the air. This is why this bait helps you get a little bit of extra distance. It's a smooth surface, it's got a nice sharp point, and this is going to travel beautifully through the air. We're going to use this. I like to go through the mouth end. The reason I like to do that is because the bottom part of the dangle has to come exactly through the two lips. On this side, it's not so important. It can come out and doesn't have to be straight into the middle. So it's important for the bottom part of the dangle to come straight through the lip. So that is why we are doing it this way. Just do this nice and slowly. You don't want to injure yourself. It's also a key point to note is my bait's pretty frozen. It's much easier to shape it. In my opinion, it holds its shape better. It's going to travel nicer if it's frozen. So I'm not going to grab my actual dangle, so I'm actually just making a nice hole, and then this part of the dangle is going to stick through very easily. Just going to stick it through the hole that I sent it, and this is why we made that part of the dangle stick out, because this is going to act as a little bit of a gripper. See, whoop, it's going to act as a gripper. Can't now pull your hook into the bait. It's nice and stuck there, and it's not going to pull your hook into the bait. Now we're going to trim this end. Remember to pick those things up. Trim it, and then we're going to bend it around just like so. There we go. Now we're going to attach the hook. Typically this bait I will be throwing on some sort of bite trace. It's not going to be thrown on a full metal with a big hook, because it's not a big bait. And because it's quite a neat bait, I want the presentation of this bait to be pretty important, or it will be pretty important. So you don't want to oversize hook. Now that hook through the piece of heat shrink. That's why you need heat shrink, because it's not going to go through any part of meat. It's going to, just the heat shrink is keeping it there. Now another important part is the cotton. We must apply sufficient cotton around this little meaty section to keep it in place, as well as below the hook, just to assist with it not pulling into the bait when we cast. But that is also why that little gripper is so important. I'm going to shape that little uncut section of meat, that little cut section of meat. I'm going to just shape it a little bit, stick the hook to where we want, and this is key. Do a couple of turns of cotton like so, in between the two lips, over the hook, just like that. That's just going to help keep it in place. And then one more round right at the bottom of the dingle dangle in that meat. Keep it nice and firm. Then sometimes you can make your little grooves if you want to help you a little bit. Make a couple of little grooves here. This is just going to help keep the shape of the bait. Keep your lips nice and close. And there you go. As simple as that. That is going to travel beautifully. It's got a nice profile, a nice shape. It's a very effective bait, as all mackerel heads are. And you can now add, if you want to, you can add a cutlet to it. It's got a nice bit of shine for the cleaner water, but you can add a little fillet to it. You can add a piece of foam to it. But that's it. And then you're going to be hooking your 7-ounce lead like that, and it's going to travel through the air just like that. And it's going to give you a lot more distance, because firstly you're clipping your bait, so it's a dingle dangle, it's traveling as one object, but it's got almost no friction through the air. It's going from the same profile as a sinker. It's similar sized as well, so the hard work's being done by the sinker, and not much is being caught, not much air friction is being caught by the mackerel head. Well, there we go, guys. Let me know what you think of the bait. Let me know if it works for you. Let me know if you've got a different alternative, or if you're doing something similar. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Also, leave me a comment if there's a suggestion of a different type of bait you'd like to see. And if you're new here, please remember to subscribe and consider liking the video. Cheers, guys. Be safe.